Rodgers snaps it quick. Pressure coming. Scrambles to his right. Pumps and runs. Aaron Rodgers is inside the pylon. Touchdown Packers. It's Rodgers running for the score.
Touchdown! Oh, yeah, all right. Touchdown, Aaron Rodgers. Yeah.
What up? I got Naskin here with me. This ain't a diss song, but yeah, you know what it is. I'm a cheesehead, y'all niggas cheese whiz. Pittsburgh Steelers, that's nothing. That Super Bowl ring, that's nothing. Pull up in your town when you see me, you know everything. Green and yellow, green and yellow, green and yellow, green and yellow. I put it down, representing for my team. I'm in green and yellow, green and yellow, green and yellow, green and yellow.
And there is your dagger. I'm the Ranting Packers Fan, and this is Skelly, coming to you from Lambeau West. Oh, the Packers played the Bears today in the 203rd meeting, and the Packers win with a score of 24-14. It was a nail-biter. Those Bears are pretty tough, especially on defense, and they did get a few sacks. The offensive line for the Packers, they did come together when it counted. There was a lot of good plays. It was pretty much a balanced offense, defense, special teams. When it came down to it, the punter, he had a very high average with a long of 82 yards. I have some stats. Aaron Rodgers was 17 of 23 for 195 yards. 2 TDs with an 8.5 yard average and 128 quarterback rating. Aaron Jones was 13 carries, 76 yards, 5.8 yard average with a long of 28. A.J. Dillon, he was 11 for 59 with a 5.4 average with a long of 36. Aaron Rodgers had 7 carries for 19 yards, 2.7 average, and 1 touchdown, and he had a long of 16 yards. For receiving, Devontae Adams had 4 receptions for 89 yards, a 22.3 average, a 41 yard long. Aaron Jones had 4 receptions for 34 yards, 8.5 yard average, 1 TD, and his long was 12 yards. Allen Lazard was 3 catches for 27 yards, 9 yard average, 1 TD, and his long was 13. Mercedes Lewis was 2 for 17, 2 receptions for 17 yards, 8.5 yard average. His longest was 9. Amari Rodgers had 1 reception for 14 yards. Robert Tonyan, 2 receptions for 10 yards, 5 yard average. His longest was 6. DeGuara had 1 reception for 4 yards. And I'll tell you what, it needed everything they had. They had to really do well. For Chicago, Justin Fields was 16 of 27 for 174 yards, 6.4 yard average, 1 TD and 1 interception with a 75.2 quarterback rating. Rushing for Chicago, Herbert had 19 carries for 97 yards, averaged 5.1, 1 touchdown. His longest was 25 yards. Fields had 6 carries for 43 yards, 7.2 yard average, and his long was 16. Kmet had 1 carry, 0 yards. Receiving for Chicago, we have Robinson, 4 receptions for 53 yards, 13.3 average, and his long was 20 yards. We have Kmet, 4 receptions for 49 yards, 12.3 yard average, 21 yards was his long. Mooney, we have 5 receptions for 45 yards, 9-yard carry, 9-yard average, 9-yard average, 1 TD, and 15 yards was his long. Herbert, he had 2 receptions for 15 yards, 7.5 average, and his long was 8 yards. Goodwin had 1 reception for 12 yards. I thought it was a great game. The Packers played very well for the most part. The defensive line had some sacks. They had some pressure. And we had all kinds of different people in the secondary. Savage got hurt. We'll have to see how he is. We had all kinds of people that we've just recently signed in there. What we had was a game that was never really put away. The Packers just seemed to just keep a couple of scores ahead, and they never really just blew them away with score after score after score. It was ended up being kind of methodical. Now, Justin Fields, I thought he made great strides from the previous week, from what I was watching. And I think he's still going to be one hell of a quarterback for the Bears in the future, and even probably this year. So we'll have to see what happens. Like and subscribe, share. Check out links down below. I have links to fellow creators that are friends of mine that have Packers channels and also a Vikings channel. We're going to enjoy being 5-1. We're going to hope to get healthy as we go along the way. And I think we're going to be a big force to be reckoned with by the end of the season. And we're going to bring home that Lombardi. And Skelly and I say, go Pack, go! Ha ha! Yes, sirree.